Welcome back, everyone, to another beginner series video here on Misled Farms. We are on Elm Creek in the new farmer mode, and we are helping all of you out there who have an interest in getting started in farming sim. We are here to help you get started and understand some of the basics of the game. Now, I've just ran up to the farm shop and leased this plow here. We are going to talk about plowing fields, why we have to plow our fields, and what happens if we want to create a field of our own. All of that is upcoming in this video. Do me a favor though, if y'all are enjoying the beginner series or the Frankenmuth Farm series or the No Man's Land series, hell, just farming simulator content in general, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any future farming sim content, to include the beginner series episodes that we have here. Now, getting started with plowing, this is probably one of the more time-consuming tasks because typically there's not a very fast working speed associated with plows. And so we're going to talk about some of the same things we mentioned before with the combine harvester, such as working with horsepower requirements, so on and so forth, when it comes to looking at plowing your field. Now, what we have here is we have a wheat field that was previously harvested. This field, by default, when you load into Elm Creek as a new farmer, this field here is automatically in a harvested state. Once a field is in a harvested state, you have a couple different options. You can cultivate, which basically does like a very shallow type of plowing and allows the field to be ready to be seeded again. But let's just say we just wanted to plow this up. We wanted to get rid of any weeds or anything that we have remaining in this field. Or maybe we kind of want to expand out some of this area here and make this field ever so slightly bigger so that we can get a little bit more crop planted, which means we're going to make a little bit more money when we harvest this field again. That's where plowing your field is going to come into play. There are a variety of different plows that you can select from the farm store. You have plows that go all the way up to 6 meters. You have a four and a half, or I guess I should say 5. I don't know why I kept trying to say 4.5 meter plow when it obviously very clearly says 4.9 meter working width. You have this one here is at a 3.5. This is the one that we currently have that's a 2.5, and then we have some smaller ones here with just over 1 meter and then a 0.5 meter. Now, it says up here, with the plow, you can prepare fields for the next sowing and create new fields. True. Both are very accurate statements. You can plow a field and it will automatically reset the soil to its default look. So let's go ahead and drop this plow down. And you can see here, as we make a pass, we turn up the soil a little bit. We're basically just plowing in that wheat field that was there previously. And once I reach the end of the field, I don't necessarily need to raise the plow. And there's one key reason why I don't need to raise the plow, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But users beware that when you are plowing your field and you have create fields turned on, make sure that where you're going to take this plow is where you want to plow, because once you plow something in, that's pretty much it. The only other way you're going to undo that action is by going into the landscaping tool and putting down more grass, which I'll show you guys how to fix your errors if you do stumble across that and that becomes a problem for you on your farm. Now, you can see here, once I've made this pass, the plow angle kind of just doesn't really work for going back down in this direction. So if I hold down my left bumper, I have the option to rotate this plow, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So basically, every time I do a down and back, and it's just depending, it's going to be totally dependent upon the player. Some people like to rotate the plow for like the sense of realism, and just because it just looks better and it helps them line up. But that's what, and some may not. Some may not rotate it. Some might just not even care, and they're just going to drive around the field and plow it all in. It's the beauty of farming sim. I said it in the first beginner series video. However you want to play farming sim is not wrong. There's no wrong way to really play farming sim. So once I'm lined up, I'm going to go ahead and drop the plow back down, and we're going to take off, and I'm just going to head right back out into the other direction here, and that's it. I mean, when it comes to plowing a field, this is literally it right here. Just pay attention to your horsepower requirements. Make sure that the tractor that you currently have meets the horsepower requirement for this plow that you're currently utilizing or thinking about utilizing, because if you buy a plow that requires, like, say, 275 horsepower, And this tractor here, for an example, is only a 190. It's not going to pull that plow at all. So make sure that you're paying attention to that, and I'll show you guys again where to check for those horsepower requirements when you're leasing or buying items from the farm store. So now at this point, let's just go ahead and say that I wanted to take some of this area over here where this meadow grass is at, and I want to kind of just make an extra pass down this side of the field here, just for the purposes of making this field just a little bit larger. What I could do, to the best of my ability, is eye this up here and say, okay, I'm going to start right here because I feel like this is going to keep everything in line and we're not going to be too out of whack with our alignment here compared to the rest of the field. Now I'm going to hold left bumper, and the second to last option is allow create fields. If I hit Y on my controller, it now says I've basically allowed this plow. If I were to drop this down right now, boom. Now we can actually expand out this field and make this field just a little bit bigger if that's really what we were looking to do here. I can easily do so with this plow, and I can come out here past this just a little bit. I don't want to get too close to the corner of the road. That's good to go there. I'm going to lift that up, and I'm going to call that good to go. Now what I can do is kind of reposition myself, and we're just going to head down here in this other direction. We're still trying to make this field a little bit larger. I'll go ahead, drop my plow down. I'm going to start. Oh, man. I didn't want to start that far back. Now I'm going to need to fix that. So let me just get this line plowed in right here. We'll kind of stop there. Now, with the angled plows, sometimes you might have to do a little bit of work here on your corners just to get them lined back up to be like a perfect 90-degree corner. That's really, if you want to do that, that's completely up to you. You don't necessarily have to do that. But let's just say I need to fix this little area right here. Made a mistake, didn't mean to come out this far. What I can do is drop down and go into the construction, and then go over to landscaping, and then go down to painting. Now what I want to do is, first and foremost, I need to put the grass, like I'll say foundation, back down, like the actual landscape paint for grass. Now here's where correcting these mistakes can get pretty expensive. So this costs $2 every time like you hit the button, which of course my money's not going down right now, but it can cost you money to do certain things for landscaping. So once I've fixed that mistake up, see right here, I have another little area that I kind of messed up on. I just want to fix that up. And then I'm actually going to go up to plants, and I'm going to come down to the meadow grass stuff here. And then, oh, now you can see the money going down quite a bit. So it's like $50 every time I hit that button. And I did plant some grass into the field. I didn't mean to do that, but it happens from time to time. All right, so I can go through and fix up anything that I make a mistake on that way. Just keep an eye on your money. It will consume money very, very, very quickly. Now, let's just say you don't necessarily want to mess with trying to straighten this up. Some painting options will include, apparently Elm Creek does not. Some painting options will include plowed, like a plowed state. So you could actually just paint over this with a plowed state, and you wouldn't necessarily need to worry about trying to get the plow back down here to finesse that little area right there. But it's all the same. I could literally just bring the plow back down here, lower it down, and work on this until all of this area is gone. Now, when you do plow fields, you will pull up field stone. Now, you do have the option to turn field stone off. I talked about that in the harvesting video. And in case you need to be reminded of where you can turn that off at, I'll show you right now. We're going to be down here in game settings where you see field stone. We can go ahead and turn that off. And now if I were to jump back into the tractor, if I were to save this game right now with field stone turned off, yes, these field stone are still going to be here. There's nothing we can do about that. Sometimes there's two different ways that you can get rid of field stone. You can lease a roller similar to one of these two here. And sometimes rolling your fields will actually push the field stone back down into the soil and they won't be an issue. Or you can lease a stone picker of any three of these ones here and drive across your field with them and they will pick these stones up. The bonus to utilizing a stone picker is it will actually turn your field into a cultivated state. So that's a little bit of a bonus. Not that it's really like absolutely necessary, but it is an option, and that outcome is there for you. So now what I'll do is I'll just make a run right down the middle of the field so that there's no confusion as to whether or not we're pulling up field stone. As I jump back into the tractor, again, I want to double check. Right now I still have create fields enabled. I want to turn that off. I don't want to create fields right now. All I want to do, I've already done the expanding that I wanted to do for this field, so there's no need for me to have create fields enabled right now. So as I drive across the soil here and I start to plow this up, you can see now we are getting 0 field stone populating in our fields. Some people will tell you, and I have not done the in-depth research required to figure it out. Some people will say that having field stone present in your fields, if you don't pick them or you don't roll them back into the soil, when you go to utilize your seeders or you go to utilize your combine harvesters, that it'll actually cause your maintenance levels on your equipment to drop a little bit quicker. Again, I have not done the fine, detailed research necessary to confirm nor deny that point, but it makes complete sense, and I can totally understand if it did. But now, since we turned field stone off, you can see here, this is not an issue at all. If this field had active weed growth in it, and we wanted to get rid of the weeds, plowing will reset the weeds to nothing. Does not matter what stage of growth the weeds are in, whether they're small weeds, medium weeds, or large weeds. Plowing a field will completely eradicate weeds in that field. Once you plant a crop and that crop starts to grow, you'll have to do some weed management at that point, but a plow is a great way to reset the weeds back to 0, get rid of all of them, and work the soil in that field at the same time. Earlier, we talked about the working width for your plow, so I'm not going to go over that again, but what I am going to talk about is a vital point when it comes to purchasing your plow for your tractors, and that is the horsepower requirements. Now, you can see here, this small plow only requires 12 horsepower. This might be something that you would see someone utilize if they were doing like a start from scratch series where they didn't have hardly any equipment. Maybe they had a very old school tractor on the farm that has, like, say, maybe 80 horsepower available. They would purchase a plow like this or maybe something like this, but as you can see here, that would be a little too high for them. They'd use this to initially start plowing their fields. So 12 horsepower there, 85, 160, 220. So we make a big jump just to gain 1 meter of working width. It's a 60 horsepower jump. It's pretty big. 300 horsepower and then 360 horsepower. So when you're in the early stages of getting started in Farming Simulator, especially if you're doing some sort of like start from scratch series, you're definitely going to be looking at a plow similar to these two here, as their horsepower requirements are going to be pretty well covered by some of the early like small tractors that you're going to have. There's a 95 horsepower. This Fendt goes up to 114, Massey Ferguson up to 100. And yeah, so it's just basically knowing where you are with your horsepower requirement for the piece of equipment that you need to utilize will help guide you in your tractor purchase or leasing of a tractor. And always make sure that you're checking the sales page as well. You can see here that we have a very large case tractor on sale. It's 50% off. This is originally like a $500,000 tractor, and I can show you that one here because it's part of the large tractors. There it is, $506,000 for that tractor, and it's currently on sale right now for $249,000. So that's actually a really great buy. You can come in here. You can see the horsepower requirement for this currently is 524. If you were to buy new and you needed that amount of you needed more horsepower, pay attention to when you upgrade stuff like this on your tractor. This bumps it up to 692 horsepower. There is nothing that this tractor is not going to be able to do on your farm, but that comes at a cost of $614,000 brand new. We can do the same thing with the used tractor. $358,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all you need. It's really all you need. If you're just looking to do some heavy field work, this case right here is easily going to do it for you. Me personally, one of my favorite tractors in the game to start with is always been the Fendt 1000 Vario. 517 horsepower max when you do the 1050 engine setup. I've never had any issues with the Fendt tractor not being able to accomplish anything. The only thing with Fendt tractors that I would say to keep in mind of is that you don't get front loader attachments if that's something that you're looking for. So you'd have to keep an eye out on some other tractors that have those combinations. Well, all right there, future farmers of Farming Simulator 22. That's really it. I mean, in a nutshell, plowing is pretty straightforward. It's just a time-consuming task. It's going to be something that you're going to be doing for quite a while. You can hire AI workers if you would like to finish this field out, which is completely up to you. Just keep in mind, AI workers are going to cost money to do field work for you, but it is an option that you have available to you to utilize. Again, just to recap some main points, just make sure that your tractor has enough horsepower to support the plow. Always remember to take a look at some of your options in the upper left-hand corner for the controls. Make sure that you understand that we can raise and lower the plow. If we want to fold the plow, it is basically going to rotate it directly behind the tractor. We can unfold. We can, once it's completely unfolded, we can lower said plow. And then even if we wanted to rotate the plow to reorient it to where it helps us align in the field, we can do that as well. And then the last bit of advice, ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to use allow create fields, make sure you turn it off when you are done. It does not reset it when you get out of the tractor and then jump back in the tractor. If it says limit to fields, you have field creation turned on. Turn it off. If it says allow create fields, it's turned off and it's safe to drop this. You're not going to damage anything, nothing like that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be a wrap on this video here in the beginner series guide on getting started with plowing your fields. If you have any other questions or comments about plowing fields, feel free to drop them down in the comments section below this video. I am keeping an eye out for all the comments that you guys are dropping on these beginner series videos and the other series that are already present on the channel as well. If you do have any questions down there, I'll do my best to address them either in the comments section or in the next video. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in the next one.